I'm not looking for love. I need a child, not a wife. Alexander Quinn's terms were clear. Lucy would be free of her debts and he would get the child he wanted. No emotions, no strings attached. If this love story touches your heart, please help us reach 1,000 subscriptions. Before we begin, let us know in the comments where you're watching us from, and please like this video to support the channel. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Lucy Martinez took a final sip of her whiskey, her brown eyes bloodshot after 2 hours of sitting alone at the elegant bar of the Plaza Hotel. She waved to the bartender. "One more, Mike. Tonight, I need to drink until I forget the amount of money I owe." Mike shook his head but still poured more into her glass. "This is the last one, Lucy." Lucy let out a bitter laugh. $300,000, Mike! 300 grand! Do you have any idea how many articles I'd have to write to make that kind of money? I could spend my whole life and still not pay it off. Not far away, Alexander Quinn sat in the dark corner of the bar, his cold gaze fixed on the brunette woman who was complaining. Her expression caught his attention. Alexander called the server. "What's the lady at the bar drinking?" "Whiskey on the rocks, Mr. Quinn." "Bring her another on me." When the new glass was placed in front of her, Lucy looked at Mike in surprise. "I thought that was the last one." "From the gentleman in the corner." Mike nodded toward Alexander. Lucy turned, her eyes locking with the stranger's gaze. She lifted her glass in a gesture of thanks. Then, emboldened by the alcohol, she stood up, swayed slightly, and made her way over to him. "Thanks for the drink, but I'm afraid if you're looking for a good time, I'm the worst choice tonight. Unless you can magically erase $300,000 of debt." Her voice was slightly hoarse from the whiskey. "Please, have a seat," he said, motioning to the chair across from him. "I'm not looking for a good time. Just curious about the woman trying to drink away some numbers." "I'm Alexander Quinn." Lucy nearly choked on her drink. "Quinn? As in CEO of Quinn Enterprises?" Alexander smiled. "And you are?" "Lucy Martinez, an unemployed freelance journalist drowning in debt. Sounds like the title of a bad movie, doesn't it? Or at least an article worth reading," Alexander replied. 300 grand is a heavy debt for a freelancer." "Not my debt," Lucy sighed. "My father's. He passed away last year and left me the parting gift of gambling debts." Lucy took a sip of her drink. "So, Mr. Quinn, what's a CEO like you doing alone in a bar on a Friday night?" "Avoiding boring meetings. And I prefer Alex, actually." The conversation flowed on, and when the bar finally closed, somehow they found themselves in the hotel's presidential suite, with a bottle of expensive champagne and the dazzling lights of New York City stretching out below them. "I don't usually do this," Lucy said, staring down at the city through the large window. "Drink $1,000 champagne?" Alex asked, standing next to her, so close she could smell his expensive cologne. "Go drinking with a millionaire and end up in his hotel room," she whispered. There was a moment of silence, the air suddenly thick with something that wasn't alcohol. Alex's gaze shifted, growing deeper and more serious. "Lucy, I have a proposition for you." "A proposition?" "I'll pay off your debt, all $300,000. "What? Why? You don't even know me." Alex looked straight into her eyes. "In exchange, I want you to have a child with me." Lucy burst out laughing, convinced it was a joke, but Alex's face remained deadly serious. "You're insane." "I'm completely serious, Lucy. I need an heir. For years, I've poured everything into building my empire. I don't have the time or the mind for love or dating anymore. You could find anyone. I want someone intelligent, decisive, and not blinded by my money for all the wrong reasons. When you sat at that bar, you talked about fighting through your struggles, not looking for an easy way out." Lucy shook her head, but her mind had already started calculating. $300,000. Freedom. No more threatening calls. "I need to think about it sober." Alex nodded, handing her a business card. "Call me within 3 days. After that, the offer expires." 3 days later, Lucy stood in Alexander Quinn's office on the top floor of Quinn Enterprises, looking out over Manhattan. She had thought it over, weighed every angle, and finally decided this was her one chance to escape the nightmare of debt. I accept your offer, she said as Alex walked in. But I have conditions. Alex raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. First, no emotional expectations. This is strictly a business arrangement. Of course. Second, after the baby is born, I want the freedom to pursue my career, whether that means staying with the child or not. Alex nodded. And third, Lucy took a deep breath. I want everything documented. Full legal contracts. Already prepared, Alex said, pulling a thick stack of papers from his desk drawer. My legal team drafted it. Every term is clearly spelled out. Lucy skimmed through the contract, her eyes widening when she stumbled across an odd clause. Party B, that's me, agrees never to wear green socks inside Party A's residence? She gaped at him. Are you serious? A rare smile tugged at Alex's lips. I have a slight issue with the color green. You're afraid of green? Lucy couldn't help but laugh. Not afraid. Just not a fan. Alex frowned. That's the only weird condition. Everything else is standard full medical care for you, generous financial support, and of course, immediate payment of your debt. And all I have to do is get pregnant, have a baby, and never wear green socks? That's the simple version, yes. How are we going to... Lucy hesitated. How are we... You know. Alex cleared his throat. Artificial insemination? Unless you prefer. Of course not, Lucy blurted out. A week later, Lucy moved into Alex's penthouse with 2 suitcases and a laptop. The sprawling, luxurious apartment felt almost sterile, with stark white walls, dark furniture, and an oddly cold atmosphere. Looks like an art gallery, Lucy muttered as Alex gave her the tour. I don't spend much time here. Your room, Alex said, opening the door to a spacious bedroom with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. I'm on the other side of the hall. We'll share the common spaces, kitchen, living room, office. Thank you. I'll let you settle in. We have an appointment at the clinic tomorrow at 9 a.m. As Alex walked away, Lucy let out a sigh and sat down on the bed. What am I doing? That evening, when Lucy received a message from the bank confirming that her debt had been fully paid, a wave of relief washed over her, convincing her she had made the right choice. This was her only way out. One morning, Alex walked into the kitchen and stopped dead. Lucy was dancing to a lively Latin song, a bright red apron wrapped around her as she fried eggs and sang along in Spanish. Good morning, she chirped when she spotted him. Today, we're having huevos rancheros, Mexican-style eggs, my grandma's recipe. Alex stood there, looking like he had no idea how to respond. I usually have a protein shake and oatmeal. Oh, don't be so boring. Lucy placed a colorful plate of food in front of him. Eat. I promise there's no green involved. Reluctantly, Alex sat down and took a bite. His eyes widened in surprise. Good, right? Lucy grinned triumphantly. Over the next few weeks, Lucy slowly brought color and laughter into the cold penthouse. She placed vibrant pillows on the couches, hung bright artwork on the walls, after asking permission, and even convinced Alex to let her start a small rooftop garden. 3 months after, Lucy was pregnant. The morning the test showed 2 lines, she sat on the bathroom floor, overwhelmed with mixed emotions. When she handed the test to Alex over breakfast, his reaction surprised her. It wasn't the triumphant joy of a successful deal, but something far more genuine, a stunned, almost fearful wonder. We're going to have a baby, he whispered, his eyes fixed on the test. That was the deal, right? Lucy gently reminded him. Right, of course. We should schedule a doctor's appointment immediately. In the months that followed, Lucy was surprised by how attentive Alex became. He made sure she saw the best doctors, ordered books on pregnancy, and even had a nursery installed with the help of a top interior designer. One night, when Lucy couldn't sleep because of morning sickness, she dragged herself to the kitchen and was startled to find Alex there, blending something. What are you doing? She asked, rubbing her eyes. Ginger smoothie. I read it helps with nausea. A warm feeling spread through Lucy's chest. You don't have to do that. I know, Alex said, handing her the smoothie. But I want to. In a fleeting moment, he reached out and gently stroked her hair. Go get some sleep, he said softly. The baby needs you to rest. By the 6th month of her pregnancy, their relationship had shifted. They were no longer two strangers sharing a roof. They had become friends? Or maybe something else neither dared to define. Alex started working from home more often, regularly asking how she was feeling, even accompanying her to every doctor's appointment. Once, when they heard the baby's heartbeat, Lucy caught Alex discreetly wiping away a tear. But one incident changed everything. One day the phone rang and Alex's face turned tense. Is something serious going on? Lucy asked. I have to take this. Crisis at the Tokyo branch. The next morning, when Lucy woke up, the house was unusually quiet. Finding a note on the kitchen counter, she read, Had to fly to Tokyo. Crisis worse than expected. We'll be back in a few days. If you need anything, call Margot, my assistant. This is ridiculous, she muttered to herself. I lived alone just fine before I met him. But it didn't stop her from missing him. The scent of his expensive cologne, or even the way he furrowed his brow when reading financial reports. On the 4th day, as Lucy was working on a new article about the impact of technology on modern lifestyles, she received a call from an unknown number. Hello, is this Lucy Martinez? A strange female voice asked. Yes, this is Lucy. I'm Nurse Jessica from New York Presbyterian Hospital. I'm calling about Alexander Quinn. He listed you as his emergency contact. Lucy's heart dropped. What happened to Alex? He suffered a minor stroke on the flight back from Tokyo. He's stable and conscious now, but the doctors want to keep him for observation. Lucy rushed to the hospital, overwhelmed with fear and worry. The emotions surging through her made her realize a truth she could no longer deny. She had fallen in love with Alex. When she entered the hospital room, Alex looked pale and exhausted on the bed, but his eyes immediately lit up when he saw her. You didn't have to come, he said, his voice slightly weak. Of course I had to come. You scared the hell out of me. 3 days later, Alex was discharged and returned to the penthouse. Lucy had transformed the apartment into a warmer space, with fresh flowers everywhere and even a welcome home banner hanging in the living room. You didn't have to do all this, Alex said as he stepped inside. I know, Lucy smiled, but I wanted to. She had prepared a special dinner, his favorite Italian dishes. After dinner, they sat out on the balcony, looking over the city glittering under the lights. Lucy felt her heart pounding faster. Alex, I'm not good at this, he sighed. I don't know how to say how much I love you. Not because of the contract, not because of the baby, but because you're Lucy, the stubborn, funny, beautiful woman who turned my world upside down. Lucy was so shocked she couldn't speak. You love me? Alex placed his hand gently on her cheek. I love you, and I want to tear up that contract. I want us to be a real family. Lucy couldn't hold back her emotions anymore. I love you too, Alex. I tried so hard not to, but then you kept doing all these sweet things, and my heart just couldn't fight my head anymore. Alex pulled her into his arms, kissing her with all the feelings he had kept locked away for too long. When they finally broke apart, he rested his forehead against hers. I have something, he said, pulling a small box from his pocket. Alex. He opened the box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. I bought it in Tokyo right before I got on the flight home. Lucy Martinez, will you marry me? Yes, Lucy whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'll marry you. As Alex slipped the ring onto her finger, the baby gave a strong kick, making them both burst out laughing. She agrees too, Lucy giggled. She? Alex raised an eyebrow. Lucy nodded. I found out last week. We're having a daughter. Alex couldn't hide the deep joy on his face. He knelt down, gently placing his hand on Lucy's belly. Hello, sweetheart, he whispered. I promise no rigid schedules for you, and you can wear green socks anytime you want. Lucy laughed. Really? Even in the house? Alex stood and pulled her into his arms. I think I can get over that fear, for our daughter. On a beautiful spring day, Sophia Quinn was born, a healthy, beautiful baby girl with her mother's eyes and her father's smile. The penthouse was now filled with laughter and love, with walls repainted in vibrant colors and family photos adorning every corner. And every night, before bed, Alex would tell his daughter the story of how he met her mother, a story he called the best love contract ever signed. Sometimes, just to tease him, Lucy would wear green socks. And even though Alex still winced every time he saw them, he would only laugh and kiss her, reminding her that with true love, even the deepest fears could be overcome. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales of love, resilience, and second chances. See you in the next story.